The army of Alexander the Great has fought for 10 years across more than 22,000 miles from Macedonia and Greece in the eastern Mediterranean Sea through the Persian Empire in the Middle East and Egypt and on into northern India. Alexander believes that India is a small land at the edge of Asia, and he wants to conquer that land next. His men want to go home. They mutiny. They refuse to cross one more river on the way into India. The men hold a meeting to present their grievances to Alexander.
The time, Alexander, has come to go home. We are your most loyal soldiers, but the time has come to return to our wives and children. The one thing a successful general should know is when to stop.
Soldiers of Macedon, we have conquered every nation we have encountered. We have never been defeated in battle. India awaits all of its wealth. There will be riches beyond anything you can imagine. The land is filled with rubies and sapphires and other precious gems. Look at the wealth we won in Persia. Remember how just and generous I have been in sharing the spoils of war. All of you have gained gold and silver, precious gems, and the finest treasure from the lands of Persia, Egypt, and India.
I mean, that is true, Alexander, but we can't spend our wealth from the grave. We have been gone so long, our wives will give us up for the dead, and our sons would not even recognize us. Our parents will be old or dead.
Even worse, our wives will have grown old and lonely. They may have found new husbands who are there while we are here.
The gods have supported us so far, but it's not wise to tempt their anger. We have conquered most of the world. It's not wise to be greedy.
Alexander, you think of yourself as a god. You have become too Persian. You act like the kings of Persia who allowed people to worship them. It is not right for a soldier of Macedonia to permit even worthless Persians to blow kisses at you and prostrate themselves on the ground with their heads touching the earth. It is not proper behavior for a warrior chosen king by the soldiers of a Macedonian army.
You have even claimed to be the son of Zeus, the king of the gods of Greece. It's not right to tempt their anger of the gods. In Egypt, you let them crown you as Pharaoh, a god king. Next thing, you'll want them to build a great pyramid for you like those ancient tombs. The men discuss their complaints among themselves as Alexander tries to find words that will change their minds.
I need to think.
Alexander has already given orders for his body to be mummified. A pyramid will be next.
Well, it isn't any worse than acting Persian. He associates with Persian princes now, and he walks along Persian soldiers and dresses like a Persian king. That is no way for a good Macedonian warrior to behave. He has many Persian friends as Greek warriors.
Indeed, we are an army of Macedonians and Greeks, not the barbarian sons of conquered foreigners. It is another sign of Alexander's misguided actions. We conquered all of Persia, but Persian culture has conquered us.
Alexander has lost his great mind. Look what happened to Philotas, his friend and great general. Philotas complained as we were going about our long and endless journey. Alexander decided he was a traitor, tortured him, and then killed him.
Even worse, Clitus was a valiant war leader who dared to criticize Alexander in public. Alexander grabbed a spear and stabbed his friend Clitus to death. Clitus had saved his life in battle at Granchus River. Alexander has shown no loyalty to men who loyally followed him. He had General Parmeno killed too.
Victory has affected his judgment, but defeat might make him even more stubborn.
He has become a god to himself. He has named 17 cities Alexandria after himself. Now he has named a city in honor of his horse.
Alexander is still a great war leader of all time. He has led us for 10 years. We have never been defeated and never retreated without ultimate victory. We have destroyed armies 3 and 4 times as large as our own. We have been paid for years with the treasure of defeated Persian kings. Alexander has always been generous with us. We are soldiers. We are his family. You are Alexander's closest boyhood friend and defend him well. But the battles have worn us out. We fought for 10 years, we have suffered thousands of lives lost in defeating King Darius and chasing his successor, Theus, all over the Persian Empire. His decisions do not make sense. We just defeated King Porus, and Alexander made him a more powerful king than he was.
Alexander has heard enough. He wants to cross the river into the rest of India and tries to convince his troops once again to trust him.
I made Porus a king because he fought bravely and did not run away like that coward Darius did. This king's courage will make him a good ally in the battles against the rest of India.
Or it will allow Porus to build up another army. No barbarians from India, Persia, or Egypt can ever be trusted. We are Macedonians and Greeks. We must trust ourselves. We are tired of India. We did not come here to sleep with the snakes and swim with crocodiles at every river crossing. The elephants used in this land stink, and they upset our horses. We were very lucky to destroy those 200 elephants in the last battle. They might defeat us.
We have conquered every army we have ever faced. When will a few elephants defeat an army of Macedon? I who built a navy and conquered invincible Tyre, I who cut the Gordian knot with a slash of my sword, do you no longer trust me?
I have crossed enough mountains. Those mountain passes in the Hindu Kush leading to India were terrible to both men and horses.
And what did we find? Endless rain, soaking heat that rots our skin, and insects like all the devils in Hades itself. Hundreds have been bitten by snakes. We have more sores than skin. The food is wretched, and what's there is spoiled. It's worse than the stinking food in the rocky deserts we cross to get to the mountains. The drinking water is polluted and makes most of the army sick. The land is not worth owning. It's a waste of effort to destroy armies protecting such a worthless place. The astronomers have predicted disaster, and the priests fear all anger of the gods.
If we conquer all of India, we will reach the edge of Asia and take it all. We will be total masters of the world.
We already are masters of the world. We left our dead on every battlefield from Macedonia and Greece through Persia and Egypt and the lands leading to the gates of India. Let us honor their sacrifices and go home.
We refuse, Alexander, to go forward. Our minds are set. We want to see our families.
If that is your wish, I will go alone. You may all turn around and retreat like mice if you wish. I will fight on. I've already made plans to send home the older soldiers who have fought even back in the days of my father. A new army is training to replace them.
We know of this army. It is made up of Persians. There are mere boys and foreigners. Who would trust Persians to fight without Macedons, to give them courage? They will run at first battle like their fathers did. We have already too many Persians and other barbarians in our armies.
I understand that you miss your home and your wives, but many of you have married foreign wives during our travels. I will make those marriages legal. I also intend to marry a second wife, Statira, a Persian princess. I have arranged to have 80 Persian princesses brought to our camp when we return from India. We will have a great marriage ceremony and celebration. We will feast for days and honeymoon after we capture the rest of the kingdoms of India.
But Alexander, with my luck, I'll get the ugliest woman in Persia.
No one minds acquiring another wife until we return home. But the time has come to go home now. We will not cross that river.
I see that I have no choice. I know what the priests and astronomers have predicted too. I will yield to your wishes, but we will go home by another route. Let us capture the lands we encounter on our journey home.
Alexander divided his army into 3 parts and sent part of it by a water route while he traveled across a very inhospitable desert land along the Indus River to the Indian Ocean. His army engaged in many battles. In one fight, Alexander led his army into a heavily fortified city and was severely wounded. He recovered, and later on the journey he was bitten by a mosquito and contracted malaria. Alexander died before his army got through Persia. His general then fought each other for years for control of various parts of his own powerful empire.